when we see rising tensions and conflict and military actions anywhere in the world, it is always innocents who get sideswiped by conflict. And that's why in my conversations with other world leaders, in the work that we're doing together, we're trying to de-escalate the tensions in the region.
Prime Minister Justin Trudeau keeping things pretty nonpartisan when it comes to responding to the Iran plane crash. Finally, though, after being goaded by a lot of the Canadian media to put some of the blame on Donald Trump, O'Brien Lilly, it looks like, sadly, he's taken the bait ever so slightly.
Yeah, look, he didn't come out and explicitly say Donald Trump is to blame, but when asked about what's behind this, he started talking about tensions in the Middle East and that these Canadians would be here if it wasn't for these tensions. Escalation. Look, there's only one place to put the blame for the shooting down of flight PS 752, and that's with Iran. And he should have just stuck to that. I think Justin Trudeau has done, for the most part, a remarkable job handling a very delicate, very tough situation.
I agree.
But when you turn around and start blaming your neighbor, what does that do? I mean, can you imagine what Trump's reaction will be? Beyond the fact that it's not true, you've just turned around and put your neighbor and your ally on the same footing as the mullahs in Tehran. It doesn't make sense.
And here's the thing, I know he didn't explicitly place the blame on Trump, but the questions that he's gotten from some of our venerable colleagues in the liberal press over the past few days have been angled in that direction. So they ask, do you think the US, do you think Trump bears some of the responsibility? And then by him in his response, kind of winking in partial agreement, well, he's partially endorsing that idea. Although I'm having a hard time faulting him, or I don't want to fault him because, we're in this tragic moment right now, and I think we should all stand allied. I really got to fault some of those in the press who that's where their thinking space has been at instantly to ask that question. I don't know why that has to be the first most desperate thing that they got to hammer the guy on. I mean, they're trying to really pressure him to say these things.
Media organizations in French Canada, specifically newspapers like Le Devoir, have been on this from the beginning. CBC has been on this from the beginning. National Public Radio did a whole story about all the prominent Canadians trying to put the blame on Donald Trump, and they cited the tweets from Michael McCain, the CEO of Maple Leaf Foods. They cited Katie Simpson from CBC, who has been beating this drum nonstop. And that's where Trudeau's headspace is at, with these media organizations, with people like McCain, who's a Liberal donor and related to Finance Minister Bill Morneau. So what does he do? He eventually gives in. It was an interview with Global. Donna Friesen from Global didn't explicitly put it to him as Trump responsible, but he went there anyway. And I think he's got to walk back from that and say, no, the responsibility is squarely on Iran. The people of Iran are out in the streets, Anthony. They're out there protesting. They're putting the blame on their own government.
Not protesting Trump, let's clarify.
Yeah, they're protesting
their government.
They're protesting their own government. They know who's to blame for this. Their people were also killed in this. They're furious. News anchors have quit their jobs and apologized for lying to the people.
Olympians defecting, I mean, you name it, the laundry list is something. Speaking of apologies, I want one from Michael McCain here. I take the point that one of his colleagues' family members were killed in this crash, but I didn't see their names in his tweets. I didn't see the moving photos of them. Maybe they asked him not to do that. I don't know. All I heard was me, Trump, Trump, Trump. I mean, he talks about a narcissist in the White House. I don't know. I got a mirror for you to look in, buddy. I mean, really upsetting. I spoke to Mohammed Faqih, who's CEO of Paramount Foods. He's a businessman in Canada, and he created this campaign to raise funds to pay for the funeral costs.
What, about $1.5 million?
$1.5 million he's looking to raise. He did not mention anything about his business. There was no ego. There was no partisan comments. I mean, I think Michael McCain can learn the Canadian way from Mohammed Faqih here, really, in this case.
Speak to members of the Iranian community in Canada. They're furious about this. They're placing the blame where it belongs. It's time that CBC started doing what Iranians in Tehran and Iranians in Toronto are doing and stop trying to blame Donald Trump. I can really see this coming down to an increase in Canada-US tensions. What about you?
Well, Donald Trump, we know, does not like when Justin Trudeau and Chrystia Freeland make fun of him, make derogatory comments to him. So let's just say from that angle, it ain't well advised. What do you think? Let us know. Leave us your comments, and don't forget to like and share this video.